the huge role that SMEs play in driving the growth of our economy. It is estimated that their contribution to production is minimal, and many of them specialize in low-value addition. Here is a snapshot of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the country. So this is how it looks like. They contribute approximately 40% of their gross domestic product. That is the total number of goods and services produced in the country. About 7.41 million micro, small, medium-sized enterprises are in Kenya. 1.56 million and 5.85 million are all unlicensed. Of course, 1.56 million are licensed, while 5.85 million are unlicensed. Now, to give us more details in relation to this, we are joined by a corporate advocate. And of course, she is Angela Kioi, and she will be giving us more details in relation to registering a business and where do you start when you want to start a small, medium-sized enterprise in the country. Welcome to the program, and thank you so much for making time for Business Cafe.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you for having me here today.
All right. So when you're looking at SMEs in the country, they do form the backbone of the jobs and employment in the country.
Yes.
But at the same time, we do not have many of them that are registered. Why is this?
I think majority of the time it is down to the knowledge gap. I know the government has done a lot to make doing business easier. So, for example, you can now register your business online. You can do it on eCitizen, and so it provides a lot more access than previously there was. However, most people don't understand how they're going to register their business, what is required for them while they're undertaking that registration, and even how to access those services either through a cyber or through your phone or through the internet. So a lot of times, and then the other problem that we find is that a lot of times people look at SMEs as an informal business, so they don't feel as if there's a need to formalize their business. They don't feel as if there's a need to register it or to get licenses because, you know, I'm just running a side hustle or a hustle or an informal business. However, that's not the case. You actually need to formalize your business for you to be able to access so many things, to access bank accounts, to access funding, to access even training in some cases for growth. So it's still a space where SMEs can do a lot more. Yeah.
So when I have this idea, of course, that I have, and I want to pursue it further and make it a full entity, where exactly do I start? What do I need to have in terms of the credentials, and who do I need to approach?
Okay, so first of all, when starting a business, you have to flesh out your idea. You have to think through what it is you want. I think most people, once they have their idea ready, tend to now start looking for information in different places. I'd advise you go talk to an advocate, go talk to a lawyer who can actually give you very real and relevant advice in setting up your business and starting out your business. And the reason for this is that there are a lot of nuances in how we register businesses that can either help you at the beginning and later on or hurt you later on. So it is possible, definitely, it is possible for you to go and register your business on your own, but there are a lot of questions and a lot of things that you're asked during that registration process that if you do not set up your business properly can later on come and lead you into having problems. So, for example, when I think there's a question on do you have employees who are earning above 13,000? Most people don't realize that if you say yes, automatically, whether or not you do, if you say yes, automatically your PIN is going to be registered for VAT. No, not for VAT, for pay. Yeah, and so that means that obligation begins from the next month of registration. And it's so easy for you to then become delinquent and not keep up with your compliance. And one day when you go sit down with KRA, they're telling you have penalties worth X amount of money at the end of the day. And it's simply because of what you did at the beginning, at the point of registering. The point of registering your business and at the point of registering your PIN and getting your licenses. So it's important for you to get that professional help. Yeah.
And of course, what are some of the mistakes that people are making and how can they easily be resolved? Like you're saying, is it okay if you, as much as it is online, it's proper that you find a lawyer, someone who's familiar with business registration? Is that the way to go? That's the way to go, definitely. I think the biggest mistake is, this is true for all MSMEs and SMEs, being the nature of how the businesses are, is that you want to do things a lot on your own, which is fine.
because the law is now permitting for us to do a lot of this, a lot of registration. You can do a lot of these things by yourself. However, you need to get professional advice, and I cannot stress this. I mean, if you compare yourself, if you're registering a company today, the compliance needs for your company are the same for Safaricom or for multinational, for big companies in Kenya. Yeah, so the law is not going to look and say, oh, you're a small company, so you didn't know you had to comply with this, so it's okay. No, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that at some point in the future, you'll have massive fines, a lot of interest to pay, a lot of penalties to pay, simply because you did not get the help that you needed initially. So even if you want to register your business on your own, seek out that help. Look for that professional, look for information online. I think one of the most interesting things that I've found is that there's so much information now that you can access online, where people are giving you tips and guidelines and things to do, and things to think about as you register your business. So go out and do your research, but still look for a professional so that you can actually make the right decisions for your business.
All right. And Angela, about how much are we looking at if you're registering a business? How much are you likely to spend?
Okay, right now, if you're registering a business name, which is a sole proprietor or a partnership on eCitizen, I think it's about 850, if I'm not wrong. And for a company, it's 10,650, and that's on the internet. And then now there are professional fees and costs on top of that, which then you discuss with your chosen professional. Yeah.
All right. So even as we finish, there are a lot of businesses that closed down during the pandemic. But at the same time, there are some that actually sprang up because of the opportunities that COVID has laid out.
Yeah.
Could you briefly talk to us some of the recent companies that you've seen having been registered that you think, oh, this is absolutely extraordinary?
Wow, okay, I think obviously during the period of COVID, we saw a lot of medical companies and people in the medical field coming up and taking up that entrepreneurship opportunity, because it was there, it was real and it was there. I think as we've gone on, the biggest marker I can say is that people are moving more onto digital and how to do things online. And so we see a lot of that. People are now trying to figure out, okay, COVID came and we could not transact and do business as usual. So there are amazing solutions that I have seen. I think about the last 3 or 4 companies that I've registered, amazing solutions that I've seen, or people are trying to bring in amazing solutions where they're innovating in that space, doing the same thing, but let's move it to a digital platform. So in the next few years, I'm very sure we'll have a very different business environment in Kenya.
All right. Thank you so much, Angela Kioi, corporate advocate, for your insights in relation to registering small, medium-sized enterprises in the country. Now, here is someone, Angela, who's very excited when it comes to technology solutions and innovation. My partner in crime, Branji.
Yes, definitely. And I think you opened Pandora's box, I dare say, about tax laws, really, and the knowledge gap that there is in the market right now with regard to entrepreneurs who are coming up, startups that are coming up, but they do not understand the tax laws. So, of course, that's a discussion we may have to have another sitting for, Brenda. Perhaps exclusively just talk about some of the tax laws that people need to understand when they're getting into business. But many thanks. Thank you so much for this kind of discussion. By the way, how do you separate a startup and an SME? What's in your own words?
In my own words, okay, I know, maybe I can say it this way. I know there's what we describe as startups, being funded startups and businesses which are, starting up in a particular way. But in essence, all SMEs.
All of them are SMEs.
No, but you can have a startup that begins, you're starting up, but you're not an SME. Immediately when you enter into the market, or even how you're running your business, you can't be classified as an MSME, you can be really classified as an SME because of that growth path. Yeah, but at the end of the day, everyone starts.
Biasala.
Yeah.
The most important thing.
It's the most important thing.
Oh, it's been nice hanging out with you. Thank you so much for that insight that you have brought to the show. I hope the viewer has been enlightened.
Yes.
Brenda, what are we talking about tomorrow?
I mean, it's all about guns and raisins. Did you know that Northeastern has some of the biggest production when it comes to gums and raisins?
No,
So these are the raw materials for Mir and some of the key products such as pharmaceuticals and also chewing gums. So we'll be giving you more details in relation to the production capacity in places such as Wajir and Marsabit.
Exactly.
And at the same time, we'll be having an entrepreneur who deals in relation to that business and how much money he's making from that venture.
Ooh, can't wait. Definitely. That is up for tomorrow. Same place, same time. It's been a pleasure having you on Business Cafe. Thank you so much for your invaluable company. I am Brian Jajatieno and I have been with
Brenda Kerubu. Have a lovely day. And Angela, thank you so much for coming to Business Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
KTN News. Get the whole story.